The presidential debate, I think, is mostly about, at least the way that Joe Biden is running it, because he doesn't necessarily have these. He's not running on his policies. Some of them are decent. Many of them are insufficient in my mind, but he's not running on those policies for the most part. He's running on the idea that, like, Donald Trump is a cretin. I'm not a cretin. But many of the Democrats who are running for the Senate, for the House, and even to a certain extent, it's implicit in Biden's run, are running on healthcare, because our healthcare system, our health insurance system, is still woefully inadequate and not up to the task. Here's Donald Trump going up there and basically enhancing the narrative that he doesn't have a clue as to what he's doing about anything.
Health insurance taken away. You have 2 minutes uninterrupted.
Sure. First of all, I've already done something that nobody thought was possible. Through the legislature, I terminated the individual mandate. That is the worst part of Obamacare, as we call it. The individual mandate, where you have to pay a fortune for the privilege of not having to pay for bad health insurance. I terminated. It's gone. Now it's in court because Obamacare is no good. But then I made a decision, run it as well as you can to my people, great people. Run it as well as you can. I could have gone the other route and made everybody very unhappy. They ran it. Premiums are down. Everything's down. Here's the problem. No matter how well you run it, it's no good. What we'd like to do is terminate it. We have the individual mandate done. I don't know that it's going to work. If we don't win, we will have to run it, and we'll have Obamacare, but it'll be better run. But it no longer is Obamacare, because without the individual mandate, it's much different. Pre-existing conditions will always stay. What I would like to do...
Unbelievable.
I want to see the transcript of this, actually.
Honestly, I feel like, we need to slow it down, and I need to be on a blackboard and go, like, he started here, he started over here, and then he moved over here, and then he moves over here. We got rid of the mandate, which forced you to buy bad health insurance. And then we made the health insurance good, but it's still bad. And so we're going to get rid of it. But if we don't get rid of it, we'll run it good, but then we'll get rid of it again. Go back. Let's play this again. It's just too insane. There's nobody can follow this. There's the audience for this is no one.
You want me to slow it down, actually?
A good follow-up. Sorry, but a good follow-up would be, like, which Republicans advised you to do the bad thing about Obamacare and make a bunch of people unhappy?
That's the thing that's amazing, is that he's both saying, like, it doesn't exist, it does exist. It's bad, it's good. We got rid of the worst part, but it's still bad, but it's good now, the way we run it, but we're going to get rid of it because it's bad. Play this again.
The legislature, I terminated the individual mandate. That is the worst part of Obamacare, as we call it. The individual mandate, where you have to pay a fortune for the privilege of not having to pay for bad health insurance. I terminated. It's gone. Now it's in court because Obamacare is no good. But then I made a decision, run it as well as you can to my people, great people. Run it as well as you can. I could have gone the other route and made everybody very unhappy. They ran it. Premiums are down. Everything's down. Here's the problem. No matter how well you run it, it's no good. What we'd like to do is terminate it. We have the individual mandate done. I don't know that it's going to work. If we don't win, we will have to run it, and we'll have Obamacare, but it'll be better run. But it no longer is Obamacare, because without the individual mandate, it's much different. Pre-existing conditions will always stay. What I would like to do is a much better health care, much better, will always protect people with pre-existing. So I'd like to terminate Obamacare, come up with a brand new, beautiful health care. The Democrats will do it because there'll be tremendous pressure on them, and we might even have the House by that time, and I think we're going to win the House, okay? You'll see, but I think we're going to win the House. But come up with a better health care, always protecting people with pre-existing conditions. And one thing very important, we have 180 million people out there that have great private health care. Far more than we're talking about with Obamacare. Joe Biden is going to terminate all of those policies. These are people that love their health care, people that have been successful, middle-income people, been successful. They have 180 million plans, 180 million people, families, under what he wants to do, which will basically be socialized medicine. He won't even have a choice. They want to terminate 180 million plans. We have done an incredible job on health care, and we're going to do even better.
Okay.
They cut him off there. I mean, that's extraordinary. And the idea that, we're going to come up with a better, they had control for 2 solid years of everything. It's just incomprehensible. Like, he doesn't, like, I really get the sense that, like, he could have said all of that in 3 words. We got rid of the individual mandate. 3 sentences. We got rid of the individual mandate, and we're going to try and scrap Obamacare. We can't do it legislatively because people don't want to scrap it, but it's bad. And we're going to work on something better.
Well, it does kind of burn my ass listening to Trump accusing Biden of wanting to give everyone free health care. And then Biden has to jump in like, no, I don't.
Exactly. I'm only standing here because I refuse to give people health care.
It was one of those moments where I thought once more about how badly I would like to see Bernie answer this question in a debate. Because it is true. Like, it sucks for a young, healthy person to be forced to pay a bunch of money for insurance that you can't afford to use. That does suck. And Biden is not going to fix that problem, but Trump is also not going to fix the problem. He's actually going to make it worse.
I mean, the reality of the individual mandate was I think it was like $100. I mean, tax penalty for I don't know what the maximum was, but and
a lot of people took it because it was way, way cheaper for them. Right.
No, that's true. And part of the problem with Obamacare was just that it's too expensive. It was not affordable, and is not affordable. But then they found that they didn't need that at all anyways. The irony is that Obama ran. He ran against the mandate, and it was Clinton that wanted the mandate in 2000.
Well, I mean, in the context of the ACA, the individual mandate actually helps keep premiums down, right? Because you have to have more people in the pool who are healthy.
Yes, that is exactly the idea.
So Obamacare without the individual mandate, as Trump is saying he wants to do, is just Obamacare with more fatal flaws.
The mandate is gone, and it was fine. The individual mandate is gone. It's been gone for a couple of years.
Right. Okay. I do remember seeing a story about that. And premiums are going up, no?
I think premiums are going up. I think they're always going up. The argument would be like the cost curve is bent. But I think they've basically determined that they didn't really need the individual mandate. People more or less want to get health insurance. And even if it's too expensive, they will buy it anyways. But the mandate itself is gone. And that is what's so ridiculous about this court case. So the Congress voted to get rid of the mandate, keep Obamacare, and these Republican states, about 15 of them, sued, and the DOJ joined the suit, saying that because the mandate is gone, the structure of it is gone, but it was zeroed out, right? That it is not Obamacare anymore, and it is unconstitutional, and that therefore it is not severable. That thing is unconstitutional. The mandate's unconstitutional because it's no longer a tax because it's not asking for money. So there's no penalty. The mandate exists, but there's no penalty. And so it is unconstitutional because it's not a tax like the court said it was in the first place. And so that must be stricken from the law, but it also should kill the entire law because a key part of the mandate, Congress had contemplated the mandate as part of Obamacare, but Congress has already shown that it contemplated not having a mandate and have Obamacare because it did not repeal Obamacare. So the lawsuit is just absurd, and which is why people are so surprised it's gone this far, frankly. But,
Again, they're going to do whatever they have the power to do.
Exactly. I don't know why people don't understand that at this point.
So was the mandate necessary, or was that the Democrats caving and they probably should have just gone without the mandate? Because it turns out it wasn't that important anyway.
The perception was that the mandate, look, it's hard to know how many people are actually going to buy health insurance at this level. So the mandate was a way of, like Jamie's saying, to make sure that the risk pool is large enough with healthy people to make the insurance more affordable. So it turns out that there's enough people who are willing to buy health insurance anyways. You don't need the mandate.
Right. Yeah. I'm just trying to get at, like, were the Democrats and everybody over concerned about that? And, like, was that sort of self-serving on the part of the private insurance industry?
No, it was, the private insurance industry, this is the thing. Nobody really knew, right? Like nobody knew, because you couldn't know. It's you're formulating policy and you're making a best estimate. In the 2008 election, if I remember correctly, Edwards and Clinton supported the mandate and Obama did not. And I guess it was $6.95 per adult was the tax if you didn't buy it annually, and then more with children. That's what someone just IM'd. I don't know if that's true, but that sounds like it's possible. And then they had these things like where nobody knew how many people would buy insurance on these exchanges, private insurance. And so they had these, that was the slush fund that they called it, to pay the insurance companies, because, and this is why insurance companies don't sell insurance across state lines, because they don't know what the relationship will be between how many people come in who need health insurance, who need health care, or how many people are going to come in and how many of them are actually going to need health care. They don't know. They can't, there's no way to predict what a risk pool is going to be unless you've basically built it and experienced it for a while. And so there was these funds that would pay the insurance companies. So the insurance companies would set the price of the insurance, and then they would see who fills in and becomes the risk pool. And then the government promised them a certain sort of like cushion, so they couldn't lose X amount of dollars in guessing wrong on what the price should be. I mean, the problem with all this is just like, it's a completely unnecessary business. Mm-hmm. And they're creating it's an arbitrage on some level that is completely unnecessary. And not only unnecessary, detrimental to something that people believe, with good reason, should be just a service that should be a necessary requirement for a civilized society. Like, you should not be able to say that, like, we have a civilized society unless everybody has easy access. And by easy, I mean like not costing anything, or, it costs, but you're paying your taxes, but it's about making it easy and a guaranteed, health insurance. Healthcare. And that's why all of these sort of machinations to maintain this arbitrage business that's completely unnecessary. I mean, we know it's unnecessary because we have already at least 1/4 of the country doing it through government insurance. Mm-hmm. And so we know that we can function without it.
It's such an ass backwards way to do it. Like, efficiency wise, cost wise, coverage wise, there is no good faith defense of it. Besides, I guess that you think Medicare for all is politically impossible. But really, the only reason I think anyone would fight for this way of doing things is to preserve an industry that essentially kills people for money.
Yeah, I mean, it's their job. I think, as Wendell Potter put it, is like they make money by denying claims. Period. They make.
It's not just insurance companies too. It's the entire system. We had Elizabeth Rosenthal on this program a year ago who laid out the claim that like it's basically an arms race between every end of healthcare to try and outmuscle another part of it, and the bill gets left with us.
Right. And the advantage of a single payer system is that then you start to impose discipline on the rest of the system. Because what we have now is a situation where like everybody, all the players are in the room and they're all just looking at each other and going like, I won't say anything if you don't say anything. And then, then you get this sort of like crazy ass backwards way of billing and inflated prices and all this because nobody's going to, as long as we're all making money, I don't think we have a problem, right, guys? And that's it.
Yeah, and they all collectively fight CMS, basically, who's the only group standing up for patients and people.
All right.
No, it's insane. And the grassroots left populist movement, whatever you want to call it, this is going to be first on the list of concessions that we try to force from the Biden administration.
I mean, I think they're going to prioritize climate change, and I think they're going to, I think they're going to prioritize climate change, is my guess. I mean, I think the administration is. And now maybe they get it done in that reconciliation stimulus bill, but I doubt it. I don't know. It's possible.
Well, they're going to prioritize what they want to prioritize, and then we're going to come in and give them some of our priorities.
If you had to prioritize, what would you do? Would you do healthcare first, or would you do climate change?
They're both important. I don't know. It's tough to say.
That's what I'm saying. Let's assume for a moment that you could get 100% of what you want for, let's say, Green New Deal or Medicare for all. Which one would you prioritize?
That's a really hard question. I'm going to have to get back to you on that. But the point is, the Biden administration doesn't ever want to do Medicare for all. And it's our job to force concessions from the state, from the people in charge.
No, I agree.
I'd probably prioritize Medicare for all, just because I think that helps you win future elections and you can continue building power.
Yeah. I mean, look, if people are sick and people are dying disproportionately, working class people, it's going to be hard for those same people to be building a movement and fighting.
I don't know how I would answer that question, but the only hesitation I would have about Medicare for all is like your rollout time is going to be at least 4 years, right? At least 4 years. And I don't know how much time we have in terms of climate change. And, like you're also talking about, if we're talking the Green New Deal, let's say, when I don't think we're not going to get that either from the Biden administration. Obviously, we're going to push, but I'm just saying in terms of that's not going to be the first thing on the table. I think there is a decent amount of money in there, though, for job creation. And that may have the same, not as strong of an impact in terms of like what Medicare for all would do, but it might, if it's properly delivered, people will understand the sort of like the value, because you need to raise trust in government and government's ability to do things that are positive for society. Not with me, but with a lot of other people. I don't know. It's an interesting question.
There is a connection there, right? Because Green New Deal, if you want to talk about a federal jobs guarantee, a lot of those jobs could be working in the healthcare sector, in the public healthcare sector.
I think Biden's talking about, hiring hundreds of thousands of testers and stuff like that to deal with the pandemic. All right.